Cool.
Perfect. We're on.
So this is our STE number 2. We're just kind of checking in to see where we're all at on the project. Does anyone want to start with answering those 4 questions, or do you want to like go around in a circle and share each one?
Yeah, let me open them real quick.
Yeah.
My computer, everything deleted off my computer last week. Let me go open them.
Yeah, so we could probably go around and just answer each question.
Yeah, that works.
One by one, and then go to the next one.
Mm-hmm. So the first question is, what specific service are you providing to your community partner? Personally, I've helped out like in the mornings, like kind of just entertaining the kids with the Breakfast Club, and giving them like a safe space so that they can go before like that little hour or so before school, when like parents don't have any place to take them and school starts. Actually, I guess they used to do food and stuff, but now it's like, so they moved the time up for when school starts, and so we just kind of like hang out, play games, and just like a safe environment. So that's what I've mainly done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know they didn't do food anymore.
Yeah.
For the Breakfast Club, they don't do food.
Yeah, they just switched it this year because like the time for when school started moved up.
Oh, right.
So like, there's not a lot of time because like they open the doors at 6:30, and then school starts at like 7:30, and so we walk them over at like 7:15, and then they go straight to class. So like I don't know if they get food before or not, but they just don't have enough time to serve everyone.
Yeah. So the first part of ours that I did, I made like cold calls for the organization, just like calling foundations to see if they'd give us money. So that was like just the service I was providing was like for the sake of them continuing to run their organization. The second set of hours I did was at the Fall Fest, which we all did. So that was just providing entertainment and providing a safe space for them for Halloween, and then supervised trick-or-treating so that they didn't have to worry about like getting lost or anything. And then the third set of hours that I did was the Haven, and just like I had K through 2, so I just like hung out and played with the kids and read with the kids and gave them snacks.
Yeah. My first set of hours was with the Fall Festival, and that was really fun. I didn't actually go on the trick-or-treating. I stayed and cleaned up. So just helping more of Westland out is what I kind of did for that. And then I have actually been going every Tuesday and helping set up for the Haven, and then just doing the Haven. But I am doing 3 through 5, so they're a little more rowdy.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also working on more math problems, and that's really hard for them. And I don't think that they're understanding that math is important. So it's really fun for us to be like, well, math is important because, well, if you want to do this when you get older, then you have to do math. Like, I don't think they understand that. And then also reading. We do a lot of reading, and just having a safe place for them to be after school instead of running around the streets.
Do you feel like with you going every Tuesday, like you've started making relationships with the kids?
Yeah, for sure. Like, they all know like that I've been coming on Tuesday. So like the girl who's in charge, there's a different girl in charge every day. So it hasn't been a set person, but she said that on a Monday, they were like, it's almost Tuesday. Like Sandra's going to be here. She's my reading buddy. And so like when I walk in the door, they're all like, on my name tag, I just put Cass, and they all like scream my name. So I think it's just because there's other people around that they're not necessarily used to, and that they've kind of formed a bond.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So how many hours have you logged so far? So I was talking to Lizzie before we started that like I only have like 2 hours left of my 15, which like most of them have gone towards the Breakfast Club. And then I did help out with Westland with cold calling foundations, which like that's just like a whole hit or miss experience.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's just like people like don't have their foundations going anymore, and so like I could see like how frustrating that could be, and like it makes me like more curious in like where they get all their funds and like making sure that they have enough funds. So I guess
Yeah,
that
I was
eye-opening.
in there when you were doing that for a little bit, and it's just crazy that like a lot of people just won't even give you information.
Yeah, well, like a lot of it doesn't even have information online, so you call them and it's like disconnected, or like
Right.
they're like, oh yeah, we don't donate to Iowa, and it's like, okay, so like why don't you just put that information online? And I just didn't
Yeah.
realize how difficult like funding could be. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I've gotten like what 13 hours or so, so I only have a couple hours left.
Yep. That's what I'm at. I have one more week, which I'll probably go over 15 hours, but
Mm.
this week will be my last week of hours. The log.
I have 9 hours done, so I have 6 hours left. So I'm hoping to knock those out this week, probably doing the Haven. But I did the cold calling too, and it definitely is weird when you call and you're like, "Hi, I'm calling in behalf of this. Like, we're looking at how to get money," and they just kind of, some of them are like really polite and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like this doesn't work for you," or they'll be like, "Well, what's your organization about?" And then other ones are like, "You called the wrong number," or like you call like a lawyer firm because that's what the trust is through. It's through these like attorneys or whatever. They're like, "Well, what attorney is it with?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just looking for the foundation." She's like, "Well, I can't help you then." I'm like, "Okay, bye. Sorry."
Yeah, I just got one call last week, and it was like for I don't even know what it was. I don't know if it was like just like some business office, and they're like, "Yeah, that's not us," because this guy got on was like super sassy with me, and he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and I was like, "Okay, sorry, it was online."
Yeah,
I just do what I told.
well, and this organization does so much. Like my first day that I went, like just for the Halloween thing that we did, like they have so much that they do that it's amazing that the funding that they need to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool too, like how tied they are with Moulton. Like the fact that they like use Moulton's facilities and stuff, like that was cool to me that the school is willing to work with them to like
like all of the CFUM workers or volunteers, almost all of them have keys to the school.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like that was really surprising to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, also, I don't know if any of you guys did the Thanksgiving dinner. I did that the other day, and it was like crazy. We had like a lot of people from Wells Fargo that came out and volunteered, and then there was a lot of different smaller businesses. Like there's some people from Shazam. I didn't know that they volunteered. And then there's another banking insurance place that had like a bunch of volunteers, and everything got done so quick. And Weston was like trying to find stuff for us to do. She's like overwhelmed by so many volunteers that wanted to help out. And I was like, that's a good thing though, you know, like
that is good. Yeah. Well, have you guys been to like the supper, like at all?
I went to it like at the very beginning because I was dropping the kids off from the Haven.
Yeah, those volunteers, I have stayed the Tuesdays that I went just to like hand out drinks and stuff. And the volunteers are always different. And I don't know where those volunteers are from. I think they're from like a different employer every week or something. I don't know. But they're always
said also that they like serve their dinners every night. And so each like some of the kids know like when they come to dinner, like the first Wednesday of the month, it's always going to be like a certain organization or like people volunteer for every single dinner every single night. And I'm like, that is crazy. Like I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I
feel like we covered question 3.
Yeah, what are you learning? Goals, challenges. Yeah, just like the whole community come together and like so many organizations want to volunteer.
I would say honestly, I've only done Haven once, but Cassandra and I ran into each other last week, and obviously I have 8 through 2, and she has 3 through 5, and they were trying to orchestrate like a movie, and like the kids are all super sweet, but like Cassandra said, they're rowdy, and like I definitely think one of the challenges is some of the staff kind of have a hard time like managing all of the kids.
They don't know how to manage it. Yep.
Yeah, like knowing how to get the kids to be quiet and get the kids to listen. Like this one kid had like a light, like a little like bike light that you push and it like flashes, and he kept doing it during the movie, and I was like, turn it off, and he's like, why? And I'm like, just turn it off, please. And I told him, like the movie was like almost 2 hours long, and I think I told him almost every 5 minutes, like
it's almost like they don't have discipline though, like they don't know how to give discipline, and I'm sure they don't have discipline at home either. And so that makes it hard too for them to come to school and have these teachers and random people, random volunteers like us come and say, hey, you can't do that.
Or they just don't have someone who's around, you know, like if their parents just player, you know, they don't have anyone to watch them, and this is the one place that they like get attention. Like they almost want to make themselves get that like negative attention so they can have any kind of attention.
No, I definitely think so.
Yeah, they're all super sweet, and I love how sassy they are. And at times I'm like, sassy, but they're funny.
They are fun.
Yeah, but otherwise,
yeah. And then question 4, how is your service learning project expressing and developing your servant leadership skills, and be specific?
I think it's definitely helping with like communication with an organization and understanding how organizations work. So like as a servant leader, we're called to help. And, you know, these organizations are kind of giving us that avenue to help. So like learning how to communicate with Westland and like being professional, but also like saying like, literally use me however you want, you know, and then just like you said, Emily, like learning how the funding works. Cause I mean, you can have all of these good intentions of being a servant leader and being helpful, but if you don't have any funds, like you won't get a lot of places just because of how society is set up.
Yeah, well, the process of the grant writing, like there's just so many rules and regulations, and it's almost like really frustrating and like anxiety ridden just looking at it, because you're like, oh my gosh, like you have to go and do all this work, write an essay up for each individual organization and make it specialized to like what they're looking for, like they're funding education, or they're funding food, or they're funding activities, or they're funding just business like works and stuff. So it's like, how do I have to redirect all this work, and like who's gonna have the time to do that? And it's all on Westland. So like I don't know, I just had like a really big appreciation for her throughout the experience, and like how much servant leadership she puts into it. Like she's putting like her time and soul, like she's so passionate about it, and like it makes you like want to do that someday, but like you're like, God, that's just so much work that she puts into it. Like it's crazy. You have like a really big appreciation for those people.
Even just like
I don't know, like related to nursing, it's made me want to like do something like that.
Yeah,
nursing in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like it would be stressful for Westland because she actually has employees too. Like they're not all volunteers, so like she has to get all this funding, but then like this is her job too, so she has to make money for herself to live, and then she has to give her employees money, and like where's this money coming from, you know, like just the amount. Like I seen the list that you were working on last Tuesday, and like calling, but probably a fourth of those are going to call back, and maybe half of those people are going to give you the chance to write a letter for that. Like it's just really crazy to me.
Well, and the thing is that you know that they're putting in like, you know, their regular 40 hours plus like another 20 that they're not getting paid for. Like everyone's so like they're just doing it because for the cause, because they know that these kids aren't going to get any other help if they don't do it.
Right. Yeah.
When
I've also like built my appreciation up enough to where it's like when my 15 hours are done, I almost want to keep doing them.
Yeah, same. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like even if it's just like one day a month, you know, something that's like I can help do this, you know, or I can do those annoying cold calls for Westland, you know, something to just take some of that like stress off them.
Yeah.
It's cool to ask the employees too. Like when I was doing the cold calls, I talked to a bunch of people that were working at CFUM, and I asked them like how they got involved. And it's cool to hear like some people, like one lady who is the secretary now, she started out at CFUM, and then she started out working for the church, which is like where CFUM was based out of, was that the church that they're in. And then like life kind of took her away from it, and she went back to school, and then she got sick, so she had to drop out. And then one of the people who's in charge of CFUM like heard that she was looking for something new and reached out to her, and she came back just because she like loved it so much and was willing to come back. So it's cool to kind of hear like how these people find the job and that they're still there after so long. Like they believe in it. I mean, it's cool to see what they do, especially going to like the Fall Festival and the Haven. You're hands-on experiencing what they're doing. Like cold calls is important, and like I wouldn't say that was my favorite thing that I did, but it's cool to have that hands-on time with the kids and just see how like their facilities and how big of a difference they are making.
Right. Yeah, like at the beginning.
Go ahead.
At the beginning of this semester, like when I thought of like these type of organizations, I just thought that they were almost like an after school program where the kids just were at like a recess type thing where they were always out. They weren't really doing anything, but like, I don't know about in the mornings, but like at night we have snack time and they have to do like 10 math problems before, and then they get like 10 minutes of like talk time, and then we have to go and read for the rest of the time. Like it's not all fun and games. Like this organization is helping these kids educationally.
Yeah. Well, I know like they're doing a celebration for like the 50 years of doing Breakfast Club. And this is actually the first year that she was saying that they actually aren't served breakfast. So it's a little crazy, but they're still having that like celebration for it at like one of the hotels or something downtown. But where was I going with this? It's just kind of crazy because like she's like, yeah, we used to do like designated like breakfast time. Like this is when we eat, this is when we talk, this is when we like line up. And like I don't know if they do the same thing like before they start. They have that little like I matter and stuff. They say that every single morning before they go to class. And I'm like, that is just like, even it's something like some of the kids joke around when they say it, and then some of the kids are like really serious about it. You know, it's like impacting them. Because like when I was at the Thanksgiving volunteer helping set up and everything, there was a guy, he was like, I don't know if he was like early college or maybe he was just like high school, but he was like, yeah, I've been going, like I went to Breakfast Club like since I was in kindergarten, you know, and now he's coming back to help volunteer for the Thanksgiving. And it's just like kind of cool. Like Weston was like joking around with him, and it's like they have like such like long spans of relationships that like go back so many years. And it's like, that's really cool that they've been like working on this for so long. Like 50 years of Breakfast Club is like insane to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize that it was 50 years.
Yeah, they're having their 50th year celebration, and there's like one guy that he like helped start it, and I think he's gonna speak at the event. She was talking to him because he came to the Thanksgiving, but like that's crazy that, you know, they've helped that many kids get food in the morning.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, going back to the question, like I think we've all kind of like learned about, had like a really big eye opening to the servant leadership, and like how like even if we volunteer like once a month in our future careers, like that once a month like makes a difference, you know, no matter how big or small. Like you can just tell that some of these people are so worn out and giving so much, and so it's like it feels good, and it feels good to get back to your community.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too.
Agreed.
Cool.
I've definitely had fun, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, so that's all of our questions for our STE number 2. And then our next one's going to be presenting our final project.
Sweet.
Yep. All right.